Hi, everybody. Welcome back, my lovely guest, Sylvia, back from Seeing Two of Cups and Colorful Foresight. She's on this side of me, and I'm on that side of her. Eventually, you get used to going backwards on
It's
everything.
funny, I'm pointing at you, but it's doing the opposite. So I
Yeah,
have
you have to go in the opposite direction. I finally have gotten that part down most of the time. So, how have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. I've been going crazy. I don't know. I've
Welcome
been
to
doing
my
like
world.
I just been feeling to clean. I thank you, Spirit, because I would never want to do that. I'm not like that person. So I just been, and I feel like the energy clearer because of it.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
just getting
anytime I start getting, especially at Christmas time, before I drag the tree and the lights and all that stuff out, I go through a cleaning spree where I try to clean everything before I drag all this junk out and put it up. And this year, I'm not too sure how if the tree will survive the kitten
oh really?
because she climbs everything. If anything wiggles or jiggles or pulsates, or she's on it. So
Yeah. My mother.
I won't put glass ornaments on this year. I'll just use the plastic ones that I have. They look like glass, but they're plastic. So, that way if she knocks a tree over, nothing will break.
My father died a few years ago, so my mother used to decorate. So she hadn't really been into it. So I'm like, well, we still got, how in the supermarket they have a tree. It's a plant that looked like a tree.
Yeah.
Well, in the supermarket, it's a plant, so you don't have to get a tree. It looked like a tree, and I said, let's get that, just a little decoration. Gotta do that. Just have some.
That's My husband was really into Christmas. I mean, he decorated everything from the bathroom and out. And the first Christmas after he passed, I took everything out. I decorated and did everything. And I didn't do it again for 10 years. I
Wow.
just couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with putting anything up. And then I finally, after right about 10 years, I finally went and bought a tree for the apartment I was in. And I bought one of those tall, skinny ones that are for apartments,
Yeah.
and bought some new ornaments and whatnot and put it up. And the tree is long gone, but we had to replace it a couple of years back with another one, and that came with lights on it already, so I don't have
Do
to
you feel? Do you feel? 'Cause
light
now
the
you live.
strands.
But do you feel now that you live with your brother and your family, you feel more motivated to have like a little something?
I
You have
do.
everybody in the house now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And I hate to take it all down because then I get depressed. So when you start pulling all the lights down, you get kind of. But around here it's not that bad because within a month and a half, you're putting everything up for Mardi Gras. So most people down here, they just remove all the Christmas decorations from the tree, and then they put Mardi Gras decorations up on the tree, and the tree stays up till
Wow.
Easter.
I have somebody who decided she's gonna keep the tree all year round. So like for Valentine's Day, she's gonna decorate Valentine.
Yeah,
She has I guess a fake tree. So each
yeah.
season she could why not,
My
So
pain management doctor, his office, the waiting room, they have a huge tree. It's like a good 8 feet tall, big
yeah.
giant tree, and it never goes down. It stays up year round, and it's just decorated with whatever holiday is coming next. And they're not like cheap decorations. He's got like the good stuff up there. So it's kind of nice when you go in, you never quite know what you're going to be looking at because every couple of years all the decorations change. It's like they get rid of the old and go get new. So I don't know who does it or who decorates it, if it's his nurses or if it's the office manager or if it's him or if it's his wife, maybe. Who knows? But I know I have two wreaths for the door because the apartment I had in Phoenix, I had a front door and I had a patio door. So I had a wreath on each door, but here I only have one door. So one wreath stays in the box. And so I started taking it to work. Then I've been all last week, I kept saying, I need to bring the damn wreath in. and hang it up. So it's at least something in the office when people walk in the door.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
Christmassy. We our new admin finally started. Thank you, good Lord above. I can breathe again. And even though a lot of times going into training, that's okay because I just know that means in a short while I'm gonna have time to do my stuff. So and she brought a bunch of decorations from her house and decorated her office and stuff. I said, damn, I'm gonna have to step up my game here. So but other
Yeah,
than that,
I always intend to do it, and then I don't. So it's
yeah, I
good.
mean, I used to when I worked in Phoenix, when I lived in Phoenix and worked there. Our office was all of the little like it was like one big long rectangular room, and then the different stations were set up in cubicles, with the movable walls. And so I would come in the weekend after Thanksgiving on my time, and I would decorate the outer section of each cubicle, and every year I went through some, one year I put like um the big stuffed cotton rolls you can get at the craft store, and I did cotton all along the bottom to look like snow drifts with big snowflakes that I cut out and put up. And another year I did like candy canes and cookies on it, and another year I did presents and stuff on. Nobody knew what to expect. My boss was like, "You're spoiling us," I said, well, at least I'm decorating something, because I don't decorate my house, so I decorate the office instead.
Right, right.
And
That's good
but
because you're there like 40
I'm
hours.
just at work more than at home. So I'm
Exactly.
still at work more than I'm at home. So I mean, I'm there 9.5 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, and then 5 hours on Fridays. So yeah,
And don't you? I feel like we're gonna see more of the 4 hours work
the
week.
four
I
day
see that
work week. Yeah.
yeah, because I feel like as we grow in consciousness and collective, it maybe some people do like Tuesday to Friday, some do Monday because somebody still got to fill in that Friday. But I do feel like and they might work a little longer, but I'd rather work 4 days, 9 hours, and then get my extra day off. So I see that. Don't you guys see that? I see that in the
Oh
future.
yeah, I love it. I mean, of course, I work for the state, so technically I'm civil service. So I get
Right,
all the federal holidays off.
right,
And because it's a university, campus shuts down for 2 full weeks at Christmas. So
right.
we all get a 2 week vacation, whether we want one or not, which is fantastic. I've never in my life gotten off for Christmas. I've always had to work Christmas.
Good.
This is the first job I've ever had where I actually get Christmas off. So it is wonderful. And it's like I'll never be able to go back to work anywhere else
I know, right?
because they'll expect me to come in and work during Christmas time. And so yeah, I mean, we get half a day on Fridays. We're done at 12:30. Office is locked up. Campus shuts down for the weekend. We leave. We don't come back till Monday morning, and you get spoiled to that real fast. Having that, it's not a whole day off, but it's a half a day. At least you can get things done that normally would have to be done during the work week. It gives you a few hours anyway on a Friday afternoon to
Sure.
try to get some stuff done and before the weekend hits. And nobody down here wants to work on the weekends. So
That's because you work for the public. That's why you have to. That's why you're surprised that you have Christmas off and all that.
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I've always had jobs. I mean, I've had jobs in the past where it was public, but we were always open at Christmas time. I mean, we may have gotten like Christmas Day off, but you worked all the way up before and then went right back to work the day after. So, you didn't really get any holiday time.
Yeah.
And it's nice here because you get a full 2 weeks. It's like when I get off on the 16th, when I leave at 12:30, that's it. I don't go back till January 3rd. It's like, yes.
Sounds nice.
So it gives me time to prep for Christmas dinner and to get everything ready to cook. And Thanksgiving, we just get the Thursday and the Friday off, but it doesn't help because you have no prep time
Right.
to cook everything, unless you want to celebrate Thanksgiving on Friday. and or else stay up all night Wednesday night and cook, which is what I usually do. I just don't go to bed Wednesday night. I come home from work and then I start cooking.
Yeah.
And then after everybody eats Thursday on Thanksgiving Day, I go collapse in the bedroom and just I'm out. But that was my mom's big holiday, was Thanksgiving. She wasn't a religious person, and she was spiritual, but she wasn't religious. But Thanksgiving was her holiday. She pulled out all the stops. Everything was made from scratch, from the cornbread dressing to the turkeys to the homemade yeast rolls that she made herself, and it was fantastic.
She made everything.
Oh, she did everything, and she made everything from scratch. A lot of it was recipes that her grandmother used, which now I have the recipe book for all of those recipes. I just don't have the time to do that. It's like, that's a lot of damn work. I can go to the store and buy it in a can or a box or a mix.
Exactly.
Like you take the mix or do without. If you want to. My brother and I tried doing the cornbread dressing when the first Thanksgiving after Mama had passed. And we tried doing it from scratch. We had a recipe and it was edible. It wasn't anything like hers, but it was all right. But I was like, I ain't doing this again. Like if you want to do it, knock yourself out, but I'm not doing this again.
It's always nice to have homemade food, trust me, but whatever works. If you could
I make homemade Christmas cookies for my student workers. And so their last week of classes before they hit finals, which I did last week, I brought them each a big baggy tray full of homemade Christmas cookies, the decorated kinds. And of course they love them because, it gives them that little sugar rush they need as they practice, get ready for finals to start. And it's something homemade. Most of them, are not near home. And so
that's amazing.
And
I would like that if somebody did that. I would do that.
And I do it for my family, for friends and stuff. That's usually Christmas gifts. Once my vacation starts, that first week before Christmas, I will be baking like a maniac, making cookies and cupcakes and brownies and all kinds of stuff.
Listen, stop talking about cookies and brownies. Now I want it.
I know I want to eat now, and it's like I ain't got done. I'm sitting there eating peppermint pieces, but
I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. Let's see. We got some more people in. We're looking like we're filling up. Let's see. We've got.
Let's
go to the beginning. We got Amy. Hi, Amy. We got Lisa Rhodes. We got Sharon Sipe, our standard bearer who takes care of everybody's chat. We have Heather is here from Indigo Jaguar Intuitive Arts, and we have Gina M, which I think I missed you when you came in the door. And we have I know I saw Melinda from False Teeth Real Tarot, and look, we have colorful Foresight.
I think I've had reading from False when she was on Ron's channel. So
and let's see, we got Tammy's here, and somebody just popped in. Who was it? Mama Bear. Mama Bear's here. That's who's here. I knew somebody else had just popped in the door. So hello and welcome. Thank y'all for coming. We're here to do questions.
What do you think? We should do a collective reading?
Yeah, let's start out with a collective and give everybody a chance to
come up
think of some questions, and they can pop them in the chat, and I'll start starring. And
make sure it's not health or legal, because we're not doing that.
Yeah, no, I think most of them know now I don't do health or legal because I'm not a doctor and I'm not a lawyer. I can tell you if something worked for me, but that's all I can tell you, so. Yeah. And going back to my very first Oracle deck here. I won this deck from Allie from Heart and Soul Collected. when I first started feeling like I should do oracles, and I started shopping around. It was like, oh my God, there's like a
I used to
gazillion oracle decks. What do I pick?
have a lot of oracles, but I got rid of them. So now I'm waiting to attract new ones, and I'm gonna try to see if I can make it, even if it's just um, you know, simple, because they're very expensive if you want to do it.
Everybody does their own thing. That's one of the things I love about this community is, some people are tarot, some people are oracles, some people are like me, they're both. Some people don't use cards at all. Some people use their pendulum or their dowsing rods. It's like, hey, whatever flips your switch, what are you comfortable with? So
Yeah,
you go. You're the guest. You go first.
no, I'm gonna say,
Ooh.
collectively, I know most of you probably follow like the political readers, like the Linda G, the Meldor, and things like that, because that's how most of us met. But I feel at the MAGA,
People
as
are disappearing.
they find out, I don't want to say his name, but as they find out what Trump is really about, and the MAGA guy,
Just call him the former guy.
yeah. And we know that it's all related to like the connect with the foreign people. It's not just about like being human and you have the good and the bad people. It's also energetically, as I think we've heard, like there's the dark and light going on. So as the light continue to win over the dark, I feel like people are gonna feel better again because the last few years been funky. Life a
Yeah,
challenge.
and there's always going to be those on the extreme end that are going to
Oh
be
yeah,
a hassle
but
and going to, put a
I'm
burr
saying
under our skin. But
I don't know what's going to look like. I mean, life still goes on. This life is challenging. That ebb and flow. It's not about saying, "Oh, everything's going to be bright and glory." But I feel like we're starting, even though right now
yeah,
look even more extreme, we're going to start seeing more the Democrat and Republican uh, integrate.
more of the cooperation like they should.
It may not just be because they're good Republicans. Some of the good Republicans feel like they have a voice. Could at Trump weekend, he'll be able, they'll be able to like talk against him because if he had that much power, it's kind of scary. But
Yeah,
sometimes it's just about doing the right thing. So you don't even have to be a good person. But they're like it's cause and effect. Like if I do this, I'm just making everything worse. So I'm gonna do the right thing. So
yeah,
things to be in balance again. So I see a lot of the not so great people, they're gonna start doing the right thing. Not because
right.
they're great, because they just want like things to go back in order again.
Well, and life has always been very much like a pendulum swing. We'll swing all the way one way and then we'll go all the way back. And it's in that in between part that we tend to flourish the most because that's when everybody starts working together. It's like I told my cousin who's very right wing. I said, we can always agree to disagree. We don't always see things the same way. So, but I sit here and I listen to you complain about this, that, and the other. And then I think, then why are you putting the same people back in office who caused that to happen?
Right.
That makes no sense. You want to yell about the Democrats, but they're not the ones that were in power for 5 years. The Republicans were. And it takes when the administration changes and everything changes over, it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes decades to repair the damage that they can do in a couple of years' time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happened with Obama when he was elected the first time. There was so much stuff that needed to be dealt with like yesterday, I've seen interviews with part of his staff who were like, we were literally floored with just how dire things were. They had no clue it was that bad.
A lot
And
of my
people were like, when the first midterms rolled around, well, the House and the Senate went back to the Republicans again, and which pretty much kneecapped him. He couldn't do anything.
right.
And it's like, well, he can't just wave a magic wand and everything changes overnight. It takes time. And if you don't give him people in the Senate, the Congress, that are willing to work with him, then what's the point? I mean, that's what I couldn't seem to get people to understand. And it's the same thing now. I mean, you have people getting pissed at Biden and his administration because they haven't done this, they haven't done that. It's like, do you realize how much damage was done in the 4 years that the former guy was in charge? I mean,
and
not just here on our shores, but worldwide, the damage he did. That the current administration has been constantly going and putting out fires left and right. It's like, it takes time to fix all that damage. It's not going to happen right away. And if you don't give them people in the Congress and the Senate that are willing to work with them, then, what's the point? I mean, use your brain. I think the biggest problem is far too many people don't know how our government works. They don't understand how everything is supposed to work together. The whole point is you got somebody over here and somebody over here. Two separate ideas. Okay. So their job when they get elected is to meet in the middle and to figure out what each are willing to give up and what each are willing to stand up for. That's for the benefit of the whole, which is all of the people in the country. And so until you start getting people that are willing to work together, a lot of times nothing gets done. Yeah. And I'll get off my rant now. So anyway.
No, I mean, it makes sense. A lot of the Republican I know that still don't like Biden, although they're not fond of Trump, they're not going to admit it. They voted for Obama the first time. A lot of Republicans voted. What happened is, of course, no president perfect. I'm sure he wasn't great at everything, but Obama was so good at blocking everything. How could the guy get anything done? The fact that he even got Obamacare, that's amazing. And
he only got that in that first year and a half when he had the Congress and the Senate were both Republican.
Yeah.
And then the midterms hit, he lost control of both the House and the Senate. And everything stopped.
They're going to make them not succeed instead of working together and get things going. But we had to learn. We know in the bigger picture we had to learn something.
Right.
Years. But I think the collective is still. It's a lot of Republicans that let's kind of put Trump and move it toward DeSantis. And I know, according to Mel and them, DeSantis not any better, but at least it's now they're eyeing on Trump and Putin and all that. And we have to.
I think once people start going to jail, people that are high up start getting indicted and going to jail, is when I do. I do. I do see that. My cards have told me that. I've spirit guides have shown me that. Maybe not everybody I would like to see get put behind bars, but yeah, there are some heavy hitters that are going to be very unpleasantly surprised when they get hauled out and get brought to court and get convicted. Even if they go to court, I think most of them think they're just going to skate. Nothing's going to happen to them because most of them, nothing has ever happened to them. They kind of have lived that kind of life where they've always skirted right at the edge and not really doing things the way they're supposed to, but they never technically get caught to where they could get in trouble for it. And I think with what happened on January 6th and 21, there's a lot of people that are going to, I think at least half a dozen people just in Congress itself are going to get removed from Congress because they're probably going to get convicted and go to jail.
That's what a lot of people
or what they did for their participation in a terrorist attack on our country. I mean, and for entertainment purposes only, YouTube, this is my personal opinion.
Listen, the whole
Anyone
thing.
that gets convicted with that, they also need to lose their citizenship, in my opinion. You commit treason, you don't deserve to be a citizen. You know, you want to live in that kind of a country, go to Russia or go to Iran or go to China or, wherever there's communist rule and knock yourself out.
Well, part of it is that they're being bought from those countries that want to rule the world. We shall
The,
not name those dictators, but
there, we've got to get money out of the political business. We got to get dark money out. I mean, it's one thing for people to donate, but when you can hide who gives you money, that's when things get bad, because there's no way to hold that person to account as to who's paying for them.
right.
And, I mean, it's basically being bought and sold, and take that as you like. But yeah, we got to get the money out of politics. It just, and we need to, in my opinion, we need to shut down this constant running for office. Set up, you can't start running for office and doing ads and all that stuff until 3 months before the election, or 6 months before the election, whatever it is. Pick a time frame and say that's it. You can't go out there year round.
Justice
That's
and of one. You're right. We already know that there will be indictment, but it makes a difference, because even the one that won't get indicted, they'll be afraid to try, because all these guys are so obvious. They're so like Trump, who's on social media. He's saying all these things that incriminate him, because there are too many ties. I believe there are too many things that he knows or something. And like I told you in the other video last time we did this, most of the Republican I know, they're too busy working and stuff like that. They don't see all the details. They just watch 1 hour news or two, and they're not seeing the interview we see that because we're focusing on all these, and they don't really see
they only watch Fox News,
yeah,
or OAN or Newsmax, and so. And yeah, Heather, you're right. It has existed for hundreds of years, and it will go away if we make it go away. But we have to make it go away.
Part of it had to do with the time frame. Now we're entering into the golden age.
Bye, Melinda.
Hopefully, as humanity continues to lighten up, so to speak, by the planetary and by the help of ETs and stuff like that, we can minimize all that. Like you said, dark and light work together. But for a while, if we didn't pray and stuff like that, we would have been doomed. I'm not like those people but literally, I never thought that I would see that. I never believed in that doomsday. We always hear about that. Somebody always said that doom and doom. And then we start seeing the actual, like, if we don't do something, we're not going to thrive in the future. Yep. I saw people personality change. I have friends who went into QAnon. I have like non-white friends who suddenly got pro-black because of that Civil War energy. It was like bringing out the worst.
And astrologically, the country's astrological charts have been basically we are in a period astrologically. This is what Andre is saying, that we are astrologically back in the same configuration of planets and stars and whatnot as we were in during the Civil War, as we were in during the Revolutionary War. As it's like you can, and I never thought to even do this until I started watching Andre and listening to him talk, or Hogarth and listening to him talk. Right. But it's like you can trace those major wars and whatnot throughout the world. You can trace it astrologically as to when it's happening. It's happening when everything rolls back around to this, boom, it happens again. part of the cure to help prevent that from happening, in spite of the astrological signs, is having a well-educated public. When people have no clue how things work, then they don't know, they're it's very easy to lie and cheat and steal from people without an education. Because if you make it sound believable, they'll believe you. If you tell a lie enough times, it becomes the truth in many respects, even though it's still a lie. So uh, that is part of, I think, our responsibility, just as citizens, much less as readers or anything else, is to just make sure that at least we understand how it works, so that when someone asks a question or says something, we can at least tell them truthfully, well, this is what the Constitution says, or this is what state laws say, or this is what, this is what the executive decision states. I mean, I have people who are freaking out because Republicans still aren't in control of Senate, and they are on Social Security. They live off of their Social Security and Medicare. And I'm like, so you don't want to keep your Social Security and Medicare? Well, that's my money. And I said, the Republicans have already stated that their number one goal is to take that away. So why would you put them in office to take away your money that you've retired on? Explain that to me. You literally watch people's heads explode trying to compute that knowledge, because they don't tell them that on right-wing TV and radio.
You know what they focused on, a right wing. It's like, what is it, Hunter Biden? What are the four things, guys?
Oh no, Heather, I do not want to run for office.
It's like same thing over and over.
Yeah, I never knew or understood anything about how the political system worked, how our government worked, until Obama ran. And I had voted before. The first president I ever voted for was Clinton, Bill Clinton, back in the 80s or 90s, whenever it was. But I had never, I didn't know anything about politics. I'd never bothered. It was like, I had bought into the lie of, what does it matter? My vote doesn't count anyway. That's been a big lie that the Republicans have pushed for decades. Why bother? Your vote doesn't count anyway. Well, actually, that's not true. The opposite's true. Our votes do count if we get out and vote. And it wasn't until Obama ran and I got involved with his campaign, and I was living in Phoenix at the time, so that was John McCain country, and here I was for the other guy. And that's when I started learning how a lot of this stuff worked. That's when I kind of clued into like Stephanie Miller and Tom Hartman, and and some of those that are on the radio that or that are politically left, that that give out information, interviews, whatnot, explain things, how it works. That's when I started figuring it out. I was like, well, it's like half my life I've been voting for things that I didn't want and was pissed off that it was being done to me. Yet I was putting the same dumbass back in office because I didn't know any better. And so I think that's part of our job, is to make sure that people know and understand how it works, so that they can make better decisions when they get to the ballot box.
Let me tell you, I relate to you, but I did not vote. I voted. But a lot of time, when you get to the bottom, I don't know who the local is, and I go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or I go by intuition. Starting like today on, I'm going to start researching. And I was in my 40s, the last 5 years, where I start paying attention, only because intuitively, or we saw it, like, holy shit, is this for real?
Yeah.
I think it's just being an American a little bit spoiled. not having to worry before. I know we have problems in the world in US, but we never had to worry about democracy. We never had to. I mean, it's always been there, like you guys
Right.
said, but I never. So I'm hoping, because I really rather not focus on politics, tell you the truth. I mean, I have colorful foresight. I really prefer not to, but I'm going with guidance. It's just so keep me on top of it. Because if things were going well, I probably wouldn't watch the news. I wouldn't be looking at the political stuff.
I cut the
You know,
cable cord a couple of years ago. I cut the cord to cable. I don't have TV anymore. I have a Roku thing on my television. If I want to watch TV, I can't tell you the last time I turned my television on. It's been months since I've turned it on. If I need to watch something, I do it on my computer. I watch my local news channel for local news, local weather, and that's it. Anything else, if I need to know about it, I read about it. I got a subscription to our newspaper. I get the articles that come in through your mail that you can sign up with, Raw Story and Politico and all of that. And just try to keep up with it that way.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, we all like. I'm gonna try to do that. I really am. I'm gonna be.
And I was a news junkie. I watched it 24/7.
No,
That was hard to turn that off.
really.
It was very hard to turn it off. It was to quit, but it was making me physically ill.
I can understand that now, but I was never into the news. Now, but I listen to the Linda G and all those people. I get those. I get the information from that, and it's always amazing to see it show up on the news like 6 months later or a year, right? Or a year and a half. And here I am, like
sometimes the next day. I've seen that happen too. So I watched Autumn from Black and Orange. I don't know if you watch Black and Orange, Carol. Autumn comes on every day at noon Central Time.
Yeah.
Every day she's on.
I don't watch her every day,
and I don't always get to catch her every day because I'm at work. A lot of times it's just on. I kind of get to listen. But if I want to know what's the news headlines, I just make sure I watch Autumn. She's covering it, so because that's all she does is political reading.
But in 2019, I mentioned this before, I had nightmares for 8 months every night. I mean, I do metaphysics. I was like, what is going on? I was watching too much of the news, and I was watching too many political psychics. So I had to minimize to like 4 of my top favorite. And I kept hearing the song by Ozzy Osbourne, and it was like about the Cold War and things like that. I having dream about Russia. I was protecting Putin from my brother, and so the spirit were telling me you have to minimize. You still got to be informed, but you have to minimize. And I was picking up what was going on collectively. Yeah. And I had to ask for people to pray for me because I'm like, I thought it'd go nuts. I have never had nightmares every night, every freaking night, but it stopped. Thank God, And I think that was the time when the dark energy, so to speak, was the most active as well, and was going to the collective. It's still trying to do that. But,
without a doubt. I mean, I had to remove myself from it. I had to literally, like I said, I cut the cable cord. The only thing I missed that I don't get on cable, that I got on cable, that I don't get without it, is the Weather Channel. I mean, I can still check my local weather, but I don't get the Weather Channel, so. And I really liked that show because they had other shows that came on that I enjoyed watching, but I don't really watch TV anymore. I just once I made that decision,
I'm fine.
But the only time I turn the TV on is if we're going to watch a movie, and that's because it's a big 32-inch screen. And then most of the time, if it's a movie, I go watch it with my son in his room because he's got like a 50-something inch screen and surround sound and all that stuff. So We just go watch the movie in his room,
I think that's not just a coincidence. I know we're burnt out. A lot of us. It's probably because a lot of us are burnt out. But we were starting with the collective reading. I've been
Yeah,
watching Jack Frost movies that I've been touched. I felt like I'm back to in touch with my inner child. So I feel like
yeah.
that that's gonna that energy of purity and all that is starting to come in.
I've
I mean,
started
I'm
listening to
trying
a
to
lot of
manifest.
music again that I had quit listening to music. And I've always loved music. I mean, I'm not a musical person. I can't sing, I can't play an instrument, but I
Right.
always loved to listen. And my desire to keep up with the news kept me from enjoying other things, watching movies, watching regular TV, listening to music, reading books.
That's because we were terrified. That's why.
Yeah, well,
We
I
were seeing
mean,
what was going
this
on.
was
That's why.
long before even what's going on now. But
Really?
oh, I've been a news junkie for decades. Yeah, when 9/11 happened, that's when I became a news junkie. It was like I couldn't turn it off because I was terrified of what may happen next, and I wanted to know what was coming. And
So that's huge.
that
The
was
fact
back in
that
2001. Yeah, that was the year my husband died.
oh,
And I just it was like I just couldn't deal with the world not knowing what was happening. I had to know what was happening, and it just uh I quit having, I mean, I don't have nightmares, and I never really did. The only time I ever had nightmares was when they tried to put me on some medication to help me stop smoking. And it gave me not just nightmares, it gave me night terrors. I
you
mean,
try to do
waking
the
up,
right thing and you get a nightmare out of it. You're trying
night
to create.
terrors. I would wake up screaming bloody murder, soaked in sweat. I mean, horrific nightmares. And after about a week of that, I flushed them down the toilet. And I told the doctor, I'm not ever taking that again. I'll just smoke. Screw it. It's not worth it. And I quit having nightmares when I quit taking that medicine. And I haven't had a nightmare since. I mean, I have dreams. Sometimes I kind of remember snippets when I wake up in the morning, but by the time I manage to sit up and
You forgot.
focus my eyes, it's gone. It's like I don't remember my dreams. It's very rare that I remember a dream. And
Well, thankfully, I don't remember my dreams now, so I'm happy.
so I just figure if spirit wants me to remember them, they'll make sure I remember them.
For sure.
That's the way I look at it. But we were pulling for collective. So
So that's the
I
collective.
pulled,
I think things are lighting up, even though it looked really, it's still heavy going on. There's a
yeah.
lot of heavy stuff going on. But
Well,
I think
I
that is,
pulled here from the moonology, the gibbous moon, which it says we're very close to achieving our goal.
oh,
So that's very uplifting to think about.
yes.
And then I pulled from what's the name of this deck? Eternal Seeker Oracle. And I pulled the crone. Now, I'm in the age group of the crone now. That's me.
You're the old one?
Even kind of looks like me, except her hair's longer. But it's a matter of, as the crone is the one that has gained knowledge of life and what's going on around her. She's already had her family and raised them. She's already dealt with the things that a child deals with, or that a middle-aged person deals with. Now you're sitting back and you're seeing things from a broader perspective of, oh, now I get it. Okay, that makes sense. Because you're looking at it through a lens of having lived your life all these years. I mean, I'll be 62 in June. So it's like, and there's still a lot of stuff I need to learn that I don't know yet, and I hope I'm around for a hell of a lot longer because I want to learn them. I want to experience them. But I mean, up to now, my life has been, I mean, I've had the ups and the downs and good times and bad times, but all in all, it's been a fairly stable life. I mean,
Good.
nothing. I mean, I've had drastic things happen to me, but things that I always came back from. You know, one of the nicest compliments my brother ever gave me was he was talking to somebody else and he was talking about me and he said, you know, I don't always agree with my sister. We fight. He says, but she's a workhorse. He says, no matter what's happening, she gets up and she does what needs to be done every day, regardless, no matter what. She gets up, she does what needs to be done, and she just keeps going. He's like, I wish I could do that, you know. And that was
Are you learning to work smarter now though? Now from
yes,
yes, work
yes.
smart.
It
You
took
know
it took a long time to get there, but yeah. It's like let's not make it harder than it has to be.
exactly. Work
I
smart.
got enough problems in the world. I don't need to add to it. But anyway, so
So
um
this
what you
card
got?
is from the Life Seer from Chris Ann, and she explained the Seven of Wand. You guys know the Seven of Wand. That's usually a defense card. But in here, she explained that in this Seven of Wand, this woman in a circle of bubble. So even though all these things are happening, that all the craziness that's going around, instead of being defense, she created a circle of bubble. So I feel like people getting smarter and we're creating the circle of bubble, even in the midst of all that craziness. What you speaking of working smart, working hard, people are working smart to overcome these challenges that coming to play.
Yeah.
And I see that on the news. They're starting to work smart instead of like making everything chaotic. And that part of it had to do with the Biden administration
Yeah.
because
People are tired.
whoever the leader matters. It Even though he's one guy, he had all these people around them. It's kind of the ripple effect. So we're starting to see that,
He
like, even though there's all the craziness, it's kind of like creating the field of bubble and work smart.
right. Well, and Biden is in a very real sense, he's like everybody's favorite uncle or your grandpa. You
Right.
know, somebody that you know, if you need comfort, he's going to give you comfort. If you need help, he's going to give you help. If you need nothing more than just a damn hug because you've had a crappy day, he's going to be there to give you a hug, you know. Um, and that's how I've always thought of him. I mean, even when he was VP for Obama, it was like he
Oh, he
brought
was
all these decades of
successful.
experience with him to that position. And when Obama first asked him to be his running mate, the only caveat that he had was that he told Obama was that all I ask is that I be the last one left in the room. After you've talked to everybody, had all the experts come in, all the people come in and tell you, I want to be the last one left in the room with you before you make your final decision. And Obama
That's right.
stuck to that. And that's how they operated. And Obama has said many times over the years that was one of the wisest decisions he ever made, was because a lot of times Biden would present things in a way that he never considered, you know, or never thought about going that direction with it, simply from lack of experience. It had nothing to do with him not being smart. God knows Obama's one hell of a smart guy. But Biden just had all those years of experience of dealing with people, of dealing with foreign nationals and their people, and getting people to work together that normally would never work together before. And that's what he brought to, that's why I think he's been so healing for our country this time, is because we're an entire society that's in the midst of massive PTSD from the former guy.
No kidding.
Everybody's got it. We're
Exactly.
all operating under PTSD. And it is, you see a lot of gut reactions from people without thinking it through, simply because they've been in such a chaotic state for the last 5-6 years that they couldn't they didn't know how else to react, you know, and now we're able to finally catch our breath. That was something the former guy did, was he put everybody into such a spin and then just kept it going so that you couldn't stop and get your bearings and figure out what's going on.
That was
Because
like
he thrives in chaos.
distraction method 101. He was good
Yeah.
at that. By the way, while you were talking, you mentioned about PSTD. So I was asking the card, which card could be like a PSTD? I got like the Two of
PTSD.
Coins. To most of you, I know, are tarot card readers. The Five of Wands could be, like,
Very,
and
yeah.
and the Moon for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else? What else could be like a PSTD? I get the Five of Swords.
PTSD. Yeah.
The
Post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with PTSD is that it can literally shut you down. If you get triggered, something happens, somebody says something, you experience something, and it triggers that panic that you were in, that you were undergoing, it can shut you down. It can shut your entire biological system down. It can shut your mental. My son suffers from PTSD after 5 years in the Navy and 2 deployments.
Maybe like a Two of Swords, blindfolded. You can't move.
Yeah, at times, yeah. Or you feel like, what is it? Which wand is it they're just all jumbled and they're trying to carry this jumbled mess? I'm going blank on which card it is.
Not 9-1 or a 10 of 1?
Something like that. But it's not the one where they're all bundled and they can easily carry it. It's another one. It's the other card, and it might be the 9 or the 10 of Wands that where they're just like all kind of loose and jumbled, and the person is obviously struggling, trying to keep this contained. That's kind of like what PTSD is like. It's like everything is just chaotic and crazy, and you can't focus on what needs to be done, or something happens and it triggers that, so that you feel like you're back in that situation and you can't function. I got your question, Amy. So yeah, I mean, I've had to learn a lot about it because of my son, how it can literally stop a person in their tracks and keep them from doing productive things simply because they cannot mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically cannot function because of what it triggers in them, that fight or flight syndrome, where you can't, it completely incapacitates you. I mean, it keeps you from being able to think straight. It keeps you from being able to focus on a task and get it done. Or, it's with my son, it got to where he couldn't handle going out in public. Having people around would just like flip him out, It's slowly getting better, but it's been a long ride. And
that Southern accent came and been a long ride.
It's been a long time, yeah.
So what's the question Amy had?
Let's see, wait. Jules put, you return back to that emotional mental state no matter what. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it does.
I had a car accident back in 2004. Now, if it's a car accident, to this day, I'm minding my business. I'm not like, if the car come this way, I still freeze. To this day.
Yep.
I'm thinking maybe I have to track a
and that's all part of it. It's
in the body.
It's your brain and body's way of preparing you for attack or for protection from attack.
You would think after 20 years, I don't know.
Hey, I've seen it last a lot longer in people. So, okay. Amy's question. Here we go.
Can you see me move to England? Okay.
2023 or 2024? That's a pendulum question.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Let me see. Let me clear my air here a little bit. Okay. Will Amy's move to England be in 2023? Let's see what we got. Getting a fairly strong yes. Will it happen in 2024? Nope, because it's like I just told you it was in 2023. So it looks like you're going to be going this coming year. I know that you've got a GoFundMe going now. Amy's got a GoFundMe up, trying to raise money to be able to get over there. There's stuff she needs to do in order to get her work permit to work in England, as well as there's moving cost and just all the things you do when you're going to another country. I mean, there's passport costs, there's all kinds of stuff. I got your question, Jules.
Well, I was going to say that I saw it more toward 2024. So
it could be maybe the end of the year, beginning of the year.
I'm going to say, I think more toward 2024, because it is as what Sharon said, the things she had to do. A lot of it is like you have to work through your self-imposing thing, that there are things you have to work over to make things happen. A lot of it, there's a lot of international stuff that's happening that's a little chaotic, especially in England. So I think don't suffer over it, to keep pushing through, and it'll just happen.
How far back was your question, Mama Bear? I'm not seeing it. Wait, I'm scrolling back. I'm trying to find it.
But Amy, you're going far away to leave your toxic family. You can't do that in another state. But I know you're passionate about England. I remember I've seen your channel, and you've been passionate about England for a long time.
Yeah. Let's see. Mama Bear, repost your question, darling, because I can't find it. Okay. Next question we got is Jules.
I'm getting one step at a time, Amy. Don't focus, just one step at a time. In the meantime, focus on what you really like, so you could bring that joy right now. Because as you continue to, whatever you got to do to bring joy now, it's just going to help the future. I'm getting it big. You have to focus on that, not live just in the future. I know you have toxic family, but you got to figure it out somehow. What was the next question? Will my youngest be able to overcome?
Yeah, Jules had a question. And I'm waiting for Mama Bear to repost hers. Okay. Let's see. Traumatic situations.
Yes.
Jules, how old is your youngest? I mean, are we talking a teenager? Are we talking somebody in their 20s, their 30s? Oh, he's 9. Okay, so he's still a child. Yeah, that's hard. Okay.
I'm getting you a great mom. You got the Empress card, the 6 of Sword, going through smoother water. Can it take time? Because you got the Ace of Pentacles, like one thing at a time. Like It's a slow action. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just ta 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 ta. And then the Nine of Cups, he will eventually, yes.
What was that first card you pulled?
Well, the first one with Ten of Pentacles, and then
Okay.
the Empress. A lot of it had to do with Jewel. Six of Swords, it's smoothing
Okay,
water.
Six of
He
Swords.
will. Yeah. And then
Because I
Ace.
pulled the Eight of Swords. That's why I thought we had pulled the same card. Okay.
Oh, you
Well,
have
I've
Ace.
got. Go ahead.
No, you have Eight of Swords.
I have the Eight of Swords, which can be a victim mentality. I mean,
Yeah.
they can feel like, like they're, the fear of being a victim again can be very. I mean, even as a 9-year-old, you still deal with those kind of fears that if you step out and do something, anything that happened, like that happened around the time he was traumatized, it's the fear of I'm going to, it's going to happen again, you know. But I also drew the Five of Cups reversed, which means that he will move on. He will find acceptance of peace. And that's just going to take constant reassurance from you. At that age, he's going to look, I'm saying he, I'm assuming it's a boy. At that age, 9-year-old is going to look to their parents to give them that stability, to help them feel secure and stable. And that just comes with time. I mean, something traumatic happens, even as an adult, you don't get over that right away. It takes time. And then it ended with the Seven of Wands, which is perseverance. I mean, he will get through it. Like I said, it's going to take time. And it's going to take a lot of reassurance from you, from his dad, grandparents. I mean, whatever adults are around that are there to provide comfort and peace of mind.
I'm glad he had good family,
Yeah, there's a lot of kids that don't have that. So
yeah.
Did you already draw? You already went. You already answered the question.
I was integrating with you.
Okay. Because I was going to go into the next one if but I didn't know if you. Okay.
We're done.
All right. The next question we have is Mama Bear. Why did the guy that my daughter went on a date with ghost her the following day?
Did he the ding back? But let's ask the card.
The first thing that popped in my mind, because he's an idiot. And then you said ding back. I was like, okay.
Maybe cards are kinder. I don't know. Let's look.
Ding, 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 ding.
How dare he do that to your daughter?
Yeah. I don't understand this ghosting thing that young people seem to be doing to one another today. I don't get it. I mean, if you didn't enjoy the person's company, then just simply say, nice to have met you. Glad we got to go out, but I just don't think this is going to work. And leave it at that and walk away. But I don't get the ghosting thing. Why they gotta.
I'm getting he wanted a little bit of action. She wouldn't do it. He just wanted some action.
He was just looking for a fun night, fun time in the OK Corral.
And he had other opportunity to do something else the next day.
All right, let's see.
So what do you got, Sharon?
I pulled 3 reversed cards.
Oh.
That doesn't happen very often.
That's true.
First thing I pulled was justice, reversed, which is simply telling us, a lack of accountability, dishonesty, punishment. That's him. That's not your daughter. That's him.
They met.
And then I got the Eight of Wands reversed, which is just showing her frustration, her panic that did I do something wrong? She didn't. This is all on him. This is his issue, not hers. And again, I think Sylvia's right that he was looking for a good time and she didn't put out, because not everybody does, that's
At
personal
least,
choice. But
I mean, give it time, like you got to work for it. Hello.
and then a Nine of Cups reversed. I feel like he was feeling a lot of smugness and indulgence. That's where that looking for a good time crap comes from. He thought he was going to be able to just, hey, let's go have a roll in the hay and see what happens. And she wasn't up for that game. So, unfortunately, there's a lot of younger men today that they don't seem to know how to deal with rejection very much. And they don't seem to understand that when you're a dick, nobody wants to go out with you or hang with you. Pardon my language, but that's basically the only way I can think of to put that. When you have that kind of attitude, then people don't want to spend time with you. They sure as hell don't want to get involved with you.
Hey, listen, Mama Bear. He did her a favor. Maybe something higher than let's not waste her time. But I know how it is. Like us women or even men, you start playing. Oh, what did I do? Da, 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 da. Nothing. She didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything wrong. Just
I'm sorry, Mama Bear.
It hurts when you see your children hurt, because you want to make it better.
Mama Bear, she may learn and maybe won't meet assholes. She'll have a better, attender. I'm learning too, so.
Yeah, Joel says my oldest wants to find his forever love. Yeah, I mean, we all want that,
Yeah.
I love Tammy's response. Bingo.
Wait, what POS stand for? Wait, let me figure that out.
Piece of.
Oh, okay.
Piece of poopy. She was hurt and did cry, but she's okay. Good. I'm glad she's okay. And sometimes a good cry is better than anything else in the world. I mean, if I get upset about something, or if something happens and I can't get that emotion to release, I will go sit down and watch a movie that I know will make me cry. Something really sad. And I'll go watch that movie and boo my eyes out, and then I feel better. Because all of that pent-up emotion has come out. And
I'm getting he really wasn't aware how that was harmful. I remember when I was 16, I had a high school. I was actually very shy. I didn't really date in high school. But there was a guy that liked me, and he told a friend of mine. And so a friend of mine pointed to him. And I remember I didn't really like him, but I didn't. And I think he probably got hurt from that because he was embarrassed. All of us looking at him. And I was just not the type to date at that. I was too shy. And now that I look back, I'm like, he probably was so hurt. And I don't even realize what my action did. And so sometimes we're assholes without realizing we're assholes, So even though he was not the greatest, I don't think he really realized what his action did.
Right. And some people, they just, they when you think of it along those terms, I mean, you have some people who just, because they are so self-absorbed into themselves, right, that they don't see how their words or their actions affect someone else, and there are a lot of times when people get hurt and it's not an intentional hurt, Now there are some buttholes that, they get a kick out of seeing if they can make somebody hurt. I've dated a few of those.
I guess
And
it's an art too, like telling the people the truth. That's difficult. Like, I'm not really into you, and sometimes there's just ghosts instead.
yeah, I mean, I tried the dating thing a couple of years after my husband died because everybody was after me. Oh, you need to get out and date and da 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 da. So I finally gave in and said, okay. I did it for like a year. And after a year, I was like, you know what? I'd rather be single. I understand now why my mom never remarried after her divorce with my stepdad. Um, and she never had any desire to get remarried. Now, pardon me while I swallow my peppermint. Um, while I didn't lose my husband to a divorce, it was much more final because he up and died on me. And I spent several years after that mad as hell at him because he died on me. It was like we had
Young
plans.
and
We
young.
had plans. We had things we were going to do when we retired, and you reneged on your deal. You up and croaked on my ass. What's wrong with you? And at the same time, I felt a lot of guilt because I felt relief that I didn't have to take care of him anymore because he was very sick towards the end. And it required constant care, and it was exhausting. And I felt relief, and then I felt tremendous guilt because I felt relief that I didn't have to take care of him anymore. And it took me quite a few years to get past that and just accept the fact that I had every right to feel relief because it was a burden that had been taken away from me. Not in a way that I would have wanted it removed, but in the long run, it was for his benefit because he was the one that was living in pain. He was the one that was sick. And at least he didn't have to live like that anymore.
Do you
You
feel
know,
his spirit? You feel his spirit around? Spirit.
sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes he likes to mess with my hair.
Oh.
And he always had a thing for me to have long hair. My hair was like down to my waist. I always kept it very long. And then after he died, I cut it all off. And it was like, okay, he's not here to brush it anymore. Off it went. And I've been slowly letting it grow back since lockdown. Because I had like really short pixie cut, like one step away from a Furiosa from Mad Max, the Charlize Theron had pretty much a buzz cut. Um, my hair was like that, and then lockdown hit and couldn't get a haircut. It started growing out, and then I was like, no, I miss it being long, so I decided to just let it keep growing. And so I've had several different ways of trying to figure out how I want it to be cut and how I want to keep it styled. But it took a while before I finally found something that was quick, easy, and I liked it. So now
I like it long, but I don't
I'm
have
slowly getting there. It's a little bit shorter than what I want, another couple of inches, but right now I'm still trying to get all the layers the same length.
it
And
look
that
good.
just takes time. So when I go get it cut, they have to kind of like cut up, to
Right.
meet the next layer and then try to trim the dead ends. And it's just been an ongoing process. But they've been doing a good job, and it's with every cut, it's getting closer and closer to what I want. So,
Great. Good. You know,
yeah,
Mama Bear said, well, I told if he tried to call her, don't answer him. I don't know. You think she should give him another chance? Because sometimes you could be but then you're not so bad. What do you feel?
yeah, no, she don't need to give him the time of day.
She's like, nope. I mean, she could have a conversation with him. Just be like, I would prefer if you were not interested in me. Just though it's a good habit to not ghost. And then maybe that might actually help him to not do that in the future.
Yeah, Does she look like his ex? Sometimes you get people who will go out of their way to date or try to hook up with somebody that they've broken it off with simply because they aren't ready to move on. So they're trying to find a replacement. Just a thought. Oh, Jules, I've been having the same problem the last couple of weeks. My internet keeps getting spotty. I have to make sure I do everything on the computer that's wired and not the Wi-Fi one because it'll drop at any moment. Yeah, that's possible. But I mean,
I'm a bit you're intuitive too. Everybody is anyway, but it's just some are better than others.
everybody that's in our community is to some degree or another, you know.
Right.
Some are closet psychics like I was for so long.
I would have had twins. We've been 2 1 shot, you know. Now it's
I
too late.
mean, I'm always the one that's willing to give somebody a second chance, just simply
I'm gonna
because
say, yeah. Should we give him a second
maybe
chance?
it wasn't intentional. But if he's already posting negative stuff, then yeah, she needs to not bother her time with that. I mean, there are too many nice guys out there who are looking for a nice woman to hook up with, you know.
So give this guy another chance.
So I use my rose quartz.
But you know, if she wanted to communicate with him, there's no harm in that. But right now, I'm seeing no. But I just believe sometimes we don't have a good beginning, and then you come back and have that second chance. So,
ooh, it went right into a no. And I use my rose quartz for, you know, personal type relationship type questions. Yeah. That's what I use my rose quartz one for. Right. More general areas, I've got a tiger's eye that I use. And then my newest one, we're still fighting about how he's supposed to work here. And that's just a quartz. But we're still in arguments about what his yes and no means because he changes it every time I turn around. So it's like, okay, you need to get grip. Pick a direction. Let's stick to it. And so I'll just have to.
I'm getting better with the pendulum. I feel like you have to really protect your energy, making sure you know who.
Well, I know so people can see it on camera. I have to hold my arm up. But I prefer to set my arm on my tabletop.
Me too.
And then hold it. Then that way I know my arm is not moving in any way, you know. So I'll tend to do that first. And then I'll hold it up so everybody can see it. And because my camera doesn't quite, although I've now got a second camera installed because I don't have paid StreamYard, I can't use the 2-camera thing. I have to upgrade to do that. But when I record, I can do the 2-camera thing. If I do it like on YouTube or if I just record it on my computer. So I haven't really used it yet. So I have to play with it. I got vacation coming in another week and a half. I'll start playing with it then.
You know what? You know how you talk about you have that rattle that you made, that homemade rattle? I don't have the pendulum, so I just use a necklace with the.
Hey, that works. Whatever works.
I just, protect
it. Amy wants you on her channel, so if it's cool with you, I'll give her your email.
Amy, definitely, yes, please.
Okay.
And I've been on yours, and you've read for me. So I love you.
Yeah, I'll remind me when we get off. I'll give you her email, and you can email her. Let's see.
Wait. Just before, let's see. Jewel, second chance without a single. I believe in second, third, fourth. It's depending on the person.
It depends on the person and the situation.
Yeah. I'm with somebody right now that we're giving each other a lot of chances, but it's because we had to work through a lot of our toxicity. You have any other question? Come on.
Yeah,
Give me a
I
couple of
don't
questions.
see any more.
Amy, you got the
Y'all
question.
got any more questions?
Tammy didn't do it yet. Jewel, did you? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see any more questions.
We're like, more question, please.
And
You can make it fun. Doesn't have to be serious.
yeah, absolutely.
It could be a silly
I still don't have a fun deck yet. I want to get either the Rebel deck or there's another deck called
I think you should make your own one. For the
I've
fun.
thought about it, but
No, just to draw on it.
yeah, I've thought about it, but it's like
You're
I'm
like,
not
nope.
sure
It'd work.
to have. I mean, it would just be writing on the card because I can't draw.
No, you could just write on the card. Let it evolve. It doesn't have to be anything, you know.
Personally, I would. If it was me and the guy called me back after posting negative things, I would tell him to bite me. But
Or
that's just me.
Or P-O-X.
Yeah, no, I try to give people second, sometimes third chances, especially if it's stuff that happens beyond their control. That throws them off or whatever.
Yes.
But there are other times when it's like, no, you had your shot. You're done. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Jules has a question. Will my middle son like the Marine Corps? He's graduating from the Marine Corps in 2023, or he's graduating from school and going into the Marine Corps in 2023.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Which one is it?
Which one is it? I know
he had another year left in the Marine, so he'll graduate the Marine in 2023.
Okay. Another year left.
He will like it. The thing he'll like, actually, the travel. Interestingly enough.
Okay, he's got another year left of high school, and then he'll join the Marines.
Really?
My son joined the Navy.
Left in the Marines.
She said.
You're confusing me. Sorry. Which one is it?
Jules said he has another year left in the. I don't know what she's talking about there, but when I asked her, she said high school. My 23-year-old is a Marine. My middle wants to go into the Corps after he graduates. I breed Marines. Hey, if you got to pick one, that's a good one to go with. Although the Navy is really cool. My son joined the Navy a few years after his dad died. And he did it. He didn't tell me he was even thinking about it. He came, picked me up from work one day and said, oh, by the way, I joined the Navy today. And I'm like, oh, you're thinking about joining the Navy? He said, no, I signed up today. And I was like, what? And that first phone call home, they allowed them in basic training. I'll never forget that first phone call I got from him. And it was the little boy voice that was cracking on the phone saying, Mom, I think I made a mistake. He was in basic. And I knew in that split second, I knew I could either, be like, we'll just come home. And then he would have to deal with the fact that he never finished it out. Or I could tell you. Instead, I said, what are you talking about? I said, you got this. I said, you get through this, the rest of your life's a cakewalk. This is the hardest thing you'll ever do. You can do this, one hand tied behind your back and both eyes closed. Why do you worry about it? And he told me later, he said, it was the best thing you could have said to me. He said, I just needed you to say I could do it. He said, because I seriously doubted myself. And he got through basic training fine. He went to From Chicago, he went to San Diego for school. And then when he finally got his orders to report to a ship, they sent him to Hawaii. I'm like, who goes from San Diego to Hawaii when they first join the military? That's like, usually you have to be in for a while to get Hawaii. I mean, although the first words out of my mouth was, hot damn, mama's going to Hawaii. And I did too. When he got back from his second deployment, he flew me to Hawaii for a week. And absolutely, Amy, you can ask another question.
Well, you know what, Jewel, I get that.
But I never finished Jules' question.
Yeah, the youngest is hyper kid, ready to go, and he's very competitive. Is that true?
Yeah.
Very prideful. I could do this. Is that true, Jewel? Might be because it's in the family. Like Jewel was in the
Jules'
Navy.
middle son go into the Corps.
I get he will. He just had that kind of personality. Could you ask if he would?
I'm getting a yes.
Yeah.
I'm getting a yes from the Pendulum. I mean, it's going pretty big there.
What is your yes? A circle or up and
yes
down?
is back and forth,
For me, it's back.
and no is side to side.
Yeah.
So,
for me, it's neutral.
yeah.
Competitive.
And when it either can make up its mind or I haven't worded the question right, it'll just go in a circle, or it won't move at all.
I get that middle child, like the light of everybody's life. Got this energy. My God, I could feel it. It's like, oh, you're gonna do very well.
Yeah, I mean, my son did 5 years in the Navy, and
I don't see him doing that forever. I mean, he's gonna do other things. I don't know what.
But even if he decided to make a career out of it, that's still only 20 years. If he joins right after high school, that means he's out and retired at 38.
I know somebody who did it for 4 years, and now she's doing something else. What was the point?
I mean, my uncle joined the Air Force back during Vietnam, and he did his 20 years. When he got out of the Air Force, he was 38 years old. He went to work he was a jet mechanic. He went to work for an airplane company as a jet mechanic, and he worked there for 20 years. Then he retired from them. And so by the time he was 58 years old, he was living on 2 retirements. Time to do whatever he wanted to do. So yeah, I mean, not everybody's cut out for the military life. He may feel like he wants to do that because his brothers are in the military. He may feel that pull, that it's tradition. I have to go into the military. I mean, and even if he goes in and just does a basic 4 years, at least he'll learn a skill. He should be able to get. He should be able to. I'm going blank. Be able to pay for school, whenever he gets out of if he just goes in and does 4 years, when he gets out, then he can go to college and probably go on the GI bill and go to college. They'll pay for his college. That's what my brother did. My brother joined the Army so they would pay for college. And
we better get going with
that's what Mama Bear put.
Oh, yeah.
See? Yeah. All right, Amy, what's your other question here? Wait, let me star Mama Bear. Yes, you can ask another question, Mama Bear. I got you starred. Amy, why don't you put your GoFundMe link in the chat, and then that way, if anybody wants to pitch in $5 or $10 or whatever, they can.
Amy,
I don't have the link on me.
Amy,
Yeah,
why?
that's right. He did change the military retirement.
Oh yeah.
It probably just depend. I mean, he could stay in and go to college while he's in the military. That's another thing he could do, or decide to go for officer training school if he
Don't have
qualifies.
in the military? Don't they offer college stuff?
It depends on what you're doing.
Right.
Um, but if you like apply for and are accepted into officer training school, then yeah, they'll send you to college because you have to have a college degree to be an officer. Which I don't see what difference that makes. A bullet's a bullet. It doesn't care if you have a degree or not. Um, what kind of cat? What kind of
Amy, first of all,
cat?
why you need any of us to tell you if you're gonna have one? You're gonna either have one or not. I see you with two because you probably likely don't want the cat to be alone. So
Yeah, I have just one cat, but we have two dogs. So
does that
she
make sense,
rules the
Amy? Would
roost.
that be you? Like to have two cats so the other one's not alone?
Yeah, I did that when I had for many years, and I had two cats until one of them got hit by a car and got killed.
Oh,
Um, and but now we have the little dog, which is my son's dog, and we have the big dog, which is my brother's dog, and we have the kitten, which is everybody's. But she's the only other female in the house, so at least there's another female here now. Yeah.
I would like a cat, but I'm allergic. I'm not willing to take medication to have a
You
cat.
could always get a hairless cat.
No,
They're ugly, but they're still
unless
lovable.
unless it showed up on my door, and while I'll tell you if that happened, that's one thing. But I
That's
wouldn't.
how we got the kitten. My brother went out to go make sure the windows were rolled up in the car. It was getting ready to storm. And there was this teeny tiny little kitten under the car just crying away. And he scooped it up and brought it inside, and we tried to find and somebody to claim her, and nobody claimed her. And after 3 days we decided to keep her. And
It would have to be something like that. Otherwise, I'm allergic, and I found
she's
out
the
my
boss.
sister-in-law is deadly allergic to cats.
The
So,
dogs are terrified of her. She's the boss. She rules the roost.
oh,
The big dog just wants to play with her, but he doesn't know how because she's so tiny.
I
And
could
the
get a
little
dog.
dog is like, I don't have time for you.
I could get a dog because they have hypoallergenic, but I feel like dogs are more responsibility, and I would have like a steady gig, money because they cost if they get sick
Yeah.
like that. Plus,
Cats will pretty much take care of themselves as long as you have food and water out. And they'll come to you when they want comfort. Other than that, they ignore you. And
the
that's
cat,
cool. A
but I
cat.
like.
But a dog needs to be walked and needs to be, dogs just require a lot more interaction than a cat does. Um,
Yeah, Amy. I mean, when the time is right, you'll get a cat. But right now,
there you
don't
go,
be.
Amy. Follow the wisdom of positive elders.
Listen
I
to
don't know
old
what that means, but there you go. No, I'm teasing.
us.
It
We're the
just,
elders.
we're the elders. I just say, go to the shelters. Um, Once you get there and you get settled, go to the local animal shelter, and ask them, which cat's been here the longest that no one's adopted, and then go see if that cat, and you click, and because kittens get adopted right away, but older cats tend to be ignored because they're not cute like a kitten. So
I don't see like what kind of cat. I just see right now you have to do things step by step. It really
yeah,
shouldn't be a priority of yours, especially if you are going to move to your friends at the cat. You could use that at your family at first, but eventually I do see you with two if that happens. And gonna be you have a type you don't like very hairy cat. So it's going to be like a short hair type. And the second one will be a surprise. It'll be like something that comes to you.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, go. You may get there, and one of your coworkers will be like, "Man, my cat just had kittens. Anyone interested?" And then bingo, you got a cat. Or like I said, go visit the local animal shelter, especially if it's a kill shelter, and see if you can rescue an animal before they get euthanized. Um,
You know what I'm getting, Amy? You know how you said you have a toxic family, try and run from it, or put a pause? I'm getting like, in the meantime, while you're in the process of going to another country, um, heal that aspect, even though you're still here and you're dealing with that. If as you heal that, because a lot of time we're trying to run, and if you go somewhere else, you just end up attracting it again in a different form. So, like maybe just have an understanding that okay, this is the deal or something. But I was getting a sense that if you work on that kind of to work through that, that's gonna help to make things flow.
yeah, I would just let it just wait till you get there. I mean, you're gonna have to wait till you get there anyway.
It's
Um,
gonna be a while. You have to
and
really push
just
through.
give yourself time to get there and get settled in, get a place to stay before you worry about getting a pet. The pet will come when you're ready for it.
I'm excited when you do get it. Ooh, ooh.
That's it. Okay, Mama Bear's got another question.
Let's
When
see,
will my
January
daughter meet the one
25th
for her?
of 2025. I don't know. Okay, when
Uh,
will my daughter meet the one for her?
let's see.
I'm not gonna give you a date.
Let me go. I'm not very good with times, but this tarot deck I have also has times on it and yes, no on it, and um, that kind of stuff. It's really kind of cool. It's like a all-in-one kind of card.
How
Everything included.
is your daughter like into a career? Like she has a particular career she wants to get into? Is she that kind of person? Well,
Hi, Kiba. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
hi Kiba.
Okay.
What his Insta? His Insta is George. No, it is Robert 234. If I was that good, I'd be doing that for a living.
She'd be like Miss Cleo.
I know.
Um, yeah, I pulled the King of Wands, which is a yes card, as you can see. It says yes up in the corner there. It says big picture, leader, overcoming challenges, mature, career focused. So is your daughter career focused? Does she have a career? I mean, if
Yeah, right.
she's
That's what I
if
felt.
she's into something that she wants to study or do for a job, then you definitely want
She works.
to try to meet somebody that's either going to be tolerant of that career or at the very least, be a strong proponent for her to be in that career. But still, I mean, it's, as you can see right there, that's a yes card. So that says yes, she will. Um, I have to tell you, I finally found my husband when I quit looking. It was like all my friends and stuff were getting married and having families, and I was the odd man out. Talk about feel like a fifth wheel. Um, and I just couldn't seem to meet anybody worth a second date, much less anything else. And eventually, I got to the point where I was just like, well, screw it, I'll just be single. Within a month, I met my husband. Like the minute I quit looking, that's when he showed up.
That's
So,
nice.
plus, you have to keep in mind that
I like hearing
she
that.
may be ready to meet the one, but he may not be ready yet for her. So you got a timing thing going there. Sometimes we get frustrated because we're ready for something to happen, but the person that we're supposed to be with, they're not ready yet.
So
I
maybe
like
that's
that stop sign.
well, what did she write? She wrote she worked in an old folks home and wants to be a nurse. So that's why maybe,
Oh
Sharon,
yeah, honey, she'll snag a doctor for sure.
yeah, because she's working at it. She goal set, goal working with people. She
Yeah.
had like um things that she wanted to do in her life. Uh, for some reason, I'm getting she's brokenhearted already about when it comes to love. Just take it day by day. I don't know the day or the time. I'm sorry. I mean, I could do the pendulum. Maybe see what year.
There you go. Hi, Hilda. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Okay, now I'm gonna do what Sharon does. Put put my hair. I don't know if you can see it. Here we go. 2000. It will. Mama Bear daughter meet the guy, her one in 2000. Okay, no, it's gonna be circled. Yes, it's this way, and undecided. It's side by side. So will she meet her one in 2023? No. See the circle? 2024. No. Will it be within 3-4 years? Will it be about within 5 years? 5 years. So does that mean she won't meet him until within 5 years? No. So somewhere between now and 5 years. So it could
Well,
include
remember, she might meet him tomorrow when she goes to work, but he's not ready yet.
and listen, like she said, and listen, don't listen to me. She don't listen. I've listened to psychics, and even they're good. They're things that are out of our control, and you should always just go with life. Don't go with any psychic. But I got up to 5 years. How old is your daughter, by the way? Because she sounds not that old. Need to chill and focus on her stuff. Yeah, exactly. Doesn't mean she won't have a boyfriend in between or anything like that. And right now, she's just so clear, or I don't know, but
Yeah,
like she's focused.
she's
20.
20.
Oh, okay, got it.
Oh, she needs to wait another good 10 years.
But you know what? If somebody told me at 20, oh, it's gonna be 5 years, I'm gonna think, oh my God, that's forever. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget when I turned 16. One of my great grandmothers, we had gone to go visit uh, my grandfather and my mom's dad and his mother. He was taking care of his mother, and she was like ancient, up in her 90s. And I was
So much.
15, 16 years old, and she said something about, did I have a boyfriend or something like that? I said, well, kind of, we're kind of dating, but we don't know. And
Right.
she's like, well, said the best advice I can give you is don't marry him, just live with him. And then when you're tired of his bullshit, you can kick him out.
Wow.
And this was coming from like a 90-something-year-old woman. And this, we're talking back in the 70s, when I was
That's
a
pretty
teenager. And
that's pretty
so,
modern.
yeah, so, this was a woman born in the previous century. So she was like, yeah, don't marry him, just live with him. When you're through with his BS, kick him out. Yeah. I remember the look on my mom's face. Oh my goodness. But
You know,
she was a trip. I didn't really know her that well, but
Mama Bay, I have a feeling the three of sword. I feel she's very sensitive type, so she had to work through that because sometimes that can prevent you. from like
I would only want to be 20
not
again if
that
I could
hot.
go back with all the knowledge that I have now.
Oh,
I would love to be 20 again physically, as long as I could keep all the knowledge I have at 61. Because I don't want to repeat some of those same. I don't want to repeat some of the mistakes I made in my 20s and my 30s. Yeah, if I knew then what I know now.
Between Sharon talking about cake and now they're talking about burgers. Come on.
Oh, everybody keeps talking about food. I ate. I actually cooked and had dinner ready before the show and ate my lunch, dinner, whatever you want to call it. I made beef stew, so
I'm actually starting to wash, but I have to do it correctly. Like I have to make sure when I eat, like let's say I stop at 5 or 6, I have to eat well because if it can't be light, because that have to last till the next day. Nothing from then on. So
yeah.
I'm getting more conscious to eat a more nutrient dense meal, the last meal. Because sometimes I'll do that in the morning instead of night, and then I'm hungry. Like now I'm a little hungry. So now I'm aware, like I need to really think about a better meal for dinner. That way it lasts till like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That way I don't eat again from here on. I don't want to snack because snack gets you in trouble. So
I'm a junk food junkie. I
yeah.
freely admit it. Eventually, I'll be as wide as I am tall. They can just roll me down the hall, But
Mama Bear, probably if you're intuitive, and everybody is anyway, but if you are, she's a little intuitive, that sensitivity could be an issue. I know, because I see that for myself. But just tell her, just be aware of it and work through it.
just be herself. Be herself. Do what's best for her. And when the right person comes along, they'll both know it. When it's the right person, things will just click into place. I mean, when I met my late husband, he was a biker. My family was like, "Oh my God, are you crazy?"
You were like, "Yes, baby." You're like, "Ooh."
But I was, it was like they didn't see what I saw. So it took a while.
How long were you with him?
We were married for 23, 24 years, I think, when he died.
Right.
I only know that this past year I finally have been widowed longer than I was married. But I still feel married.
Well, you are
Yeah.
until
It's like I'm lucky I found somebody that put up with me and my shenanigans the first go around. I don't expect anybody else to show up to do it. Besides, if I was to ever get married again, he better have money, because I'm not marrying another poor man. He got to be loaded.
Hey, you might as well. You already did that, done that. Might as well
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Did that, done that. Wore the t-shirt.
Did anybody else ask? If I could go back, I would have listened better to the Supreme song, "Don't Hurry, Love."
That's it.
I
That's
don't
it.
hurry, love. I need to hurry more. I'm a little too
Yeah, no. Take your time. That's the best advice I can give anyone. Just take your time. Take care of you first. I think that's one of the reasons why it was so difficult when my husband died for me, was because I went from being someone's daughter to someone's wife to someone's mother. And then I didn't know who I was. And
here you are now.
And I'm in my 60s and finally starting to figure it out. So 45 years, that's fantastic, Hilda. Happy anniversary.
So Hilda, you must have met him when you were 14. So you're like 60 or something.
Yeah, I would just, I would say take care of me first. That's the best advice I can give to anybody is take care of yourself. Do what you want to do. Um, Set up for your own retirement, which I wish I would have listened to that. Um, you know, um, do what you feel is right for you. And when the right person comes along, they'll just slide right into your, both of you will just fit right into what the other's doing.
I didn't meet anybody really at my young age, or even so. I'll be in my 50s, and I do plan. I mean, as long I'm happy and God willing, I'll attract a partner. But I know, like, once I do want it, so I'm aiming to attract that. But first of all, it had to be me. But I do want a partner for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I see it in my head. It's just me. I have to figure out what I have to do with myself first.
I mean, and like with anything, a good
So
partnership, a good marriage is compromise,
it is.
You have to be willing to support each other and compromise with each other. Most importantly, you have to be able to sit down and have a conversation with each other.
I pray, cause like you, I just want just a good marriage. I mean, just a good
Mhm.
marriage, zero drama, just do the best we can, have fun. I think in my 20s and 30s, 40, I was too immature,
Mhm.
so we'll see. And that's why when she talked about being in her 20s, in my 20s, I was like, I'll marry a guy when I'm 39, have one kid. I didn't really want it, just wasn't but I always did have crushes on guys. That's nothing new. Okay. 1920, not married, had 3 beautiful kids. Oh,
There you go.
married my old biker 37 years ago. Oh, Tammy has something in common with you, a biker.
I see that. A biker. Something about the bad boy, huh?
Mama bear. At 20, it's
Something
been.
about getting the bad boy with the heart of gold. Just I lucked out.
Those are how it was in the 70s. People did get married younger, 21, 20,
I
21.
was 22 when we got married. I broke 5 generations of getting married before 18.
Especially from the South, right?
Yeah. I broke 5 generations of firstborn daughter to firstborn daughter. I had a son.
Wow. You were like an old
I
maid at 20?
broke 5 generations of the firstborn being a breach. My son was not a breach. My mom was like, well, when you decide to break tradition, you break every damn one. Said, if you're going to do it right, right?
You're like, I'm coming in differently, guys. That's it.
And when I got married with my son, everybody kept telling me it was a girl, it's a girl, it's a girl. Even the doctor was like, oh, it's a girl. And I was like, no, it's a boy. And that was before they didn't do ultrasounds unless there was a problem.
Right.
You just didn't go to the doctor and get pictures taken, And I just knew from the minute I knew I was pregnant, I knew it was a boy. I just knew. And
you had one kid, right? One child.
just one. That was my miracle baby.
Oh.
We were told we couldn't have any.
Right.
And so we thought, well, we'll just adopt one day. And then whammo, here he came.
You always hear that.
Yeah.
You hear like once they adopt or once they let it go, then they conceive naturally.
Yeah. I mean, just he was that 1 in a billion shot. So my lucky charm.
I don't know how people do it when they have and great if they can, wonderful, but 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh my God, just the thought of that makes my head hurt.
So are we good? Are we going to do more questions? Or
I think we're good. We're going on almost 2 hours here, so
okay.
we're wrap this up and take a break, and then we'll do our pre-records and get that going. Ow. And
Nice to meet everybody here.
once again, this is Sylvia. She has 2 channels, Seeing 2 of Cups, which is your more generalized, right?
Yeah, it's just more fun.
And then Colorful Foresight, which is more political bent. All of her contact information is in the description box below.
Please subscribe.
So
100
please
people in order to do
go
live.
to her channel and like and subscribe and share. Show her some love. Hi, Kay. Thank you for saying hello.
Next time I can have Shari and some of you guys come when we do readings and stuff like that.
Anytime you want me, darling, just say the word.
Okay.
And
Care. Bye.
we will say good night for now. And y'all have a lovely week. Be kind to each other. That's the most important thing. Smile and be kind to each other.
And just give each other cake, cookies, and burgers. We're good. We're good.
Yeah. Hey, we got it made then. Good night, people. Bye.